Hi, this is Todd Lohenry again. I'm not saying that I run my computer any better or worse than you do, but I did want to share with you a couple of quick thinks about how it is that I configure Chrome for maximum content marketing efficiency. So if I switch over to Chrome, now one of the first things that I do is that as you load apps and extensions, you get all of this stuff up here in the upper right hand corner. A lot of people don't realize that you can just go and grab this and push it all the way over to the side, and that goes a long way toward cleaning up the look and feel so it's not so cluttered. And what that does then is it gives you this double arrow with this menu here, and one of the things that you can do is you can grab things and you can move them up or down based on how often you use those. So that's tip number one. Of course, the way that you add apps and extensions are, whoops, I forgot. I wanted to start with this, which is a mind map of what it is that we're going to talk about. So real quickly, some of the features that I really love about Chrome are the ability to add apps and extensions, how to sign into the browser and the benefit that it gives you, and then how to manage tasks and tabs so that your computer doesn't bog down. Okay, so you add apps and extensions in the upper left-hand corner, okay, and you go to the Chrome store. And this is the place where you can look for apps and extensions. Now, applications tend to be like a set of instructions, whereas an extension is just one, or something that does just one or two things. But you can look for just about anything that you want, any app that you run, and there'll either be an app or an extension for it. So once you're back at the apps tab, one of the things that I want to call out, and this is possible in Windows and Linux, but not on the Macintosh. So Mac users, I'm sorry, you just can't do it quite this way. But one of the things that you can do in Windows and Linux is to right-click and choose how you want this application to be displayed. So if I open it as a regular tab, then the application is just going to load in a tab, okay, like I would expect. But if I go back to the apps and I right click and I say open as a window, now when I click, watch what happens. This opens as its own independent window. Now the advantage of that is that when you open an app as a window, it feels more like an app and less like a cloud-based application in a browser. And Windows and Linux treat these as separate applications, so I can do Alt plus Tab switching and go back and forth between my email and my browser just by pressing Alt plus Tab. Okay, so going back to my little diagram here, the next thing that I want to show you is this, that if I sign into my browser, it's basically like creating a computer in the cloud. So let's say I have a couple of different devices, like most people. I've got a desktop computer at work, I've got a computer at home, I've got a tablet, and I've got a phone, and maybe a notebook computer. So 5 different devices. If I go here in the upper right hand corner and it says sign into Chrome, here I'm already signed in. What will happen is Chrome will synchronize the extensions, the bookmarks, the everything, okay? So that your computer at home will be the same as your computer at work, will be the same as your computer, your notebook computer, will be the same as your tablet, and will be the same as your phone. Same bookmarks, same everything, okay? Extensions and apps don't work quite the same way on mobile devices, but for the most part, and where this is really advantageous is if you go and you bookmark something while you're at work and you can't remember what it was like. Well, as soon as you log into Chrome at home, everything that you did at work during the day is going to be synchronized to your computer. And it works particularly well if you have a Chromebook or a Chrome box, which uses Chrome as the operating system. That way, your notebook or your Chrome box, your Chromebook or your Chrome box is just a natural extension of what it is that you're doing on your desktop computer. So for me, the best possible combination of technology is to use Chrome as the browser, whether it's iOS or Android, and use it on the desktop, but then use a Chrome box. And then my world is synchronized in the cloud. And also this works on Linux. So, if you've been thinking you wanted to install Ubuntu, you just install Chrome and Ubuntu, and it will synchronize also in Ubuntu. So for me, Chrome is the browser. It's more like an operating system than a browser. And in fact, Chromebooks and Chrome boxes show that, yes, it in fact can be an operating system. Now, let's talk about the downside for just a moment, because one of the things that I see is that Chrome can be a real memory pig. And I mean pig with a capital pig. And one of the things that you can do in order to, find problem. First of all, I think anytime that you load more than 10 browser windows or 10 browser tabs, your computer is going to start to bog down a little bit. Let me show you an example. Where I use this in particular is when I'm using Feedly. And this is how I use it. Here I'm opening Feedly as a window, and I'm just flipping through articles, and I press V for view, and watch what happens. That article is being loaded in the background, and I can do Alt+Tab switching, go back to Feedly, and continue to go through my articles. So I press V for view, and that opens a new tab. And oops. Keep going. V for view. Keep going. And what I'm seeing is that every tab that I load tends to take somewhere about 2 to 3% of my system resources just to keep that tab open. Okay, so one of the couple of different things that you can do to make sure that Chrome continues to operate really well for you is first and foremost, see in here, I'll show you what's happening on my desktop level here. Right now, Chrome, I just have Chrome open with a couple of different tabs and of course the recording software. My memory is at about 56%. Every time I open a new tab, that increases by a couple percent. But look at my microprocessor. My microprocessor right now is overwhelmed. It's at 85%. Now it's at 94. Okay, so one of the things you really have to watch out for is not keeping too many browser windows or tabs open. That's why your computer starts to bog down. That's why you start to feel like it's not, operating as well as it could. Another thing that you can do, and this is a little bit more of an advanced topic, but you go to the preferences, the hamburger in the upper right-hand corner, and go to Tools and select Task Manager. Yes, Chrome has its own task manager, just like Windows and just like the Macintosh. And you can go in here and you can see which applications and extensions. See, for example, here's, here are the pages that I have loaded. And just those pages are taking about half a gig of memory. Okay, half a gig of memory to open 5 pages. Plugins. Where are the memory pigs in your world? You can find these things and you can manage them. Okay, so if you're using a plugin that, or an extension or an app or whatever that's not, returning great value and it's taking a lot of system resources, then you can use the task to get rid of that. Another tool that I use is called AltTab, and one of the things, now let's go and take a look at, we'll do like a quick before and after. I'm at 59% of memory and 90% of microprocessor, and if I go and use, whoops, get out of the way there. If I go and use this extension called AltTab, it will consolidate all of the pages into one tab. Okay? And after the system gets over the initial shock, then what should happen is that the activity should cool down a little bit. And you notice the microprocessor dropping off rapidly. And I saved a little bit in terms of system resources. So AltTab is a pretty good tool. Another extension that I recommend is something called context. And what context allows me to do is to take a look at all of the extensions that are in my system. These are all the ones that are always available. And here are the available extensions. If they're highlighted, they are not in any group right now. So I'm able to take these extensions and I'm able to say, I want these to be always enabled. Okay, and I can go through here and I can pick the ones that I want to add to my always enabled. And then I scroll down and I can say save this on the server. The advantage of saving it on the server is that all of these, this synchronization that's happening, when I go to another computer, this context set is going to be open for me. And what it allows me to do is to say, okay, when I'm working in specifically, like here are 6 or 7 tools that I only use when I'm doing inbound marketing. The rest of the time I want my system to be a little bit leaner and, to run a little bit faster, like when I'm just doing email or whatever it is that I'm doing. And so I'm going to set it up in this way. And then what I do is after I have saved that, I go to context and I select basic, and now that basic set will be loaded. Okay, so here are just a couple of quick, yes, I love Chrome, but you got to be careful sometimes with how you use it. So hopefully these ideas are going to help your computer run much more efficiently when you're using Chrome. Questions or feedback, you know where to find me. Thanks. This is Todd Lohenry, and when I was putting together my weekly care package of screencasts and other great tips and tricks that I found this week, I realized that when I was talking about Google Chrome, I forgot to mention when I talked about logging into the browser, one of the most critical features, and one of the reasons why, and this one feature alone, to me makes Chrome worth using because of the ability that it gives us to kind of split out our live streams or whatever. So take for example, people who are involved in social media, right? Usually have more than one live stream. They've got their business live stream, and then they got their the kittens and bacon that they're posting to Facebook kind of stuff. And then think about this for a second. Who amongst us doesn't have more than one Gmail account? So this is a really cool feature that you can use in Chrome. I already talked about the benefit of signing into Chrome here, so that when you signed in from home or from mobile or whatever, or Chromebook or Chromebox or whatnot, that everything was gonna synchronize. Okay, that's one benefit. But another benefit is really to use this to be able to create like a second computer. So I want to keep my work and business stuff separate. And so what I'm able to do here is by using a Gmail account, this is notice, there are no bookmarks here in the bar, if I go back to my personal account, or if I use Alt plus Tab switching to go back and forth, the user experience changes completely. So this is like having a second or third computer inside your computer, so that, again, this is another way of managing extensions and applications so that you're only using the ones that you want. Another cool reason for using this is so that, like, when you're at work, you can be at work, but then when you want to flip over to your personal stuff, you can flip over to your personal stuff, and you can keep business and personal separate. I hope I'm communicating clearly about this. It's one of those things where I'm just so excited about it that I might just be gushing and not communicating clearly. So if you have any questions, please let me know. But being able to go back and forth between multiple different accounts is an amazing feature in Google Chrome. Use it. You'll love it.